Hi again, folks. How are you all doing? Well, here we are at the end of 2025. Another year has flown by, and don't they just fly by faster and faster as you get older? Gee whiz. As I've done previous years, I just want to take a moment to say thank you very, very much to everyone for watching the videos this past year, for all the comments and likes and subscriptions. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. Without you guys, without a decent number of viewers watching what I do, it would be difficult to stay motivated to keep making these videos, to be honest, because they are a lot of work, but they're good fun as well. And it's having that interaction and knowing that people are watching makes all the difference, and keeps me going. So if you guys keep doing what you're doing, I'll keep doing what I'm doing, sort of thing. A very special thank you to anyone who's donated anything to me this year, whether that's been some dosh or a locomotive or some rolling stock or whatever. I didn't get that many donated locomotives this year, although I was offered many. But I've just had to say thank you, but no thank you to a lot of them, because I just don't have the capacity to take them all. But a huge thank you to anyone who's offered me anything this year at all. Thank you very much to anyone who's sent me a locomotive for repair this year. Without those, there are no repair videos. So you guys are very, very important. So please keep them coming. If you've got a locomotive you'd like me to look at, please get in touch. There's information on how to do that in the FAQ link in the description to all my videos. So if you go there and read the FAQ, you'll see how to get in touch with me. And I don't always answer, especially first time, because I do get a lot of emails. But if you've got a locomotive you'd like me to look at, please do get in touch. So this year brought about a few changes. I got some work done to the layout. I got the back scenes in, which were an absolute nightmare to do. If I ever build another layout, I'll know to do the back scenes very, very early on in the process and don't leave them till the end. But I didn't get as much done to the layout as I really wanted to, but I'm hoping to rectify that this coming year in 2026. I really want to get the layout pretty much finished. It'll never be finished, but pretty much done. Get signals in, the road markings, all the major detail done, and then I can start just tidying it up and doing some fine work to it. Because it's a bit scrappy and messy in places. I really want to tidy it up in places and maybe make a few changes, but we'll see what happens. I also got my DJI Osmo Pocket 3 camera, which has made a difference, certainly to me, in making the videos. The process is a lot easier. I don't have to edit the audio so much because this wee microphone is really good. And I can get some different angles when doing running sessions and things, as you've maybe noticed. So that's been good. I do plan to get another camera. I've got a couple of ideas for when I'm working at the bench in particular, so we'll see what next year brings. One of the biggest changes this year was getting this room sorted out, getting my studio sorted out, because it meant I could expand the videos at the bench a little bit more, having a permanently set up test track and all the rest of it. That made a big difference, getting this room sorted out. I was trying to think if there was any locomotives, any repairs that kind of stood out to me over the past year. I can't really pick one out. Any locomotive that I haven't worked on before is always interesting. It doesn't really matter what it is. Maybe things like the little rocket, the newer version of Rocket, that was interesting to work on. Very, very fiddly, but that was nice to work on. And just seeing things like the Dapol 121 and one or two other models that I hadn't seen before. I certainly think I've learned a lot this past year. I think I said in one of my videos recently, possibly the Bachmann V1. I'm not scared of these modern models anymore, not the diesels anyway. Steam engines are another matter, because they can have all sorts of complications and fiddly-piddly nonsense. But modern diesels, I think I've kind of sussed them out. And I quite enjoy working on them, even though they're a hell of a fiddle. But it's It's been an educational year for me. You know, I've learned a lot more about DCC and stuff. So yeah, it's been good. So again, thank you to you all for watching, commenting, liking and subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And I shall, we'll see what 2026 brings. Now then, what did I get for Christmas? Well, you can probably tell from the thumbnail, a Bachmann class V1/V3 in LNER green. I was in the market for one of these a while back, but never saw one at any exhibitions. And I was about to buy one online when a chap called Laurie in Australia sent me an old Bachmann split chassis one as a donation, which was very kind of him, and I featured that in a couple of videos last year. However, I saw this at the Falkirk exhibition in November, and it was going for a decent price, so I thought I'd nab it for myself for Christmas. The old split chassis one still runs fine, but I figured this revised version will be a nicer model and a smoother runner. So let's do a quick unboxing. And there she is. I really like big tank engines like this, like, you know, the L1 and 4P. So yes, this does look a bit more refined than the old model, as I expected. Let's turn on the power and see how it runs. So yes, very smooth and quiet, as I thought it would be. Let's back it into the shed though, and we'll have a closer look at it. Right, okay, we'll get a quick look at this V1. Just going to pop the body off and have a look at what's inside. Just give it a wee check over and maybe stick the vacuum pipes on. Got a wee accessory pack here. Don't think there's much in it. It's not much of an accessory pack, but we'll stick the vacuum pipes on. Right, okay, let's get a look. So yeah, it's a much nicer looking model than the old split chassis one. Let's get my split chassis one here, just to compare it. So the valve gear and the wheels on the newer model are much better than the old split chassis one. And just the lining work on the body, it's much more refined. Other than that, there's not a huge difference between them. I think it's the same body moulding, but obviously this one, split chassis, so it suffers all the problems of split chassis models. This actually runs okay, but occasionally it just jams up for some bizarre reason. And I think it's something to do with the drive gear and the intermediate gear. They just seem to lock up now and again. But other than that, it runs fine. But yeah, it makes that very slight, I wouldn't call it a grinding noise, but you know, you can tell by the sound that it makes when it's running that it's a split chassis one. Whereas this one appears to have lovely bearings, I think. I'm pretty sure we've got bearings in there. We'll maybe check that. I think to get the body off, we undo that little screw in there. But yeah, it's very nice. Runs very well. Let's get a screwdriver and we'll undo this screw, which I'm pretty sure will undo the body from the chassis. It's quite tight. Nothing is attached to the body, so that should just lift off. And here we go. So there's the DCC socket and the blanking plate. That's a Next 18 socket. I haven't actually seen one of those before. Motor's tucked away in there. All looks fine. We'll maybe get a a wee bit of lubrication down in there. We'll get some gear oil, because I've got no idea how long this model's been sitting on a shelf, not getting used. So, big dollop of gear oil down in there, just to keep it sweet. Do I take this under frame off? I think I'm going to, I want to see what the bearings are like. Because I know some Bachmann models are bad for not having bearings, but this appears to have them. Might have to take this front bogie off. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. Well, there are bearings. Alright, okay. I wish I could get this right off. Move that coupling, and there's another sneaky little screw at the end there. There we go. That now comes off. Right, okay. Let's just get this back in position. So there you can see the bearings are kind of flush with the side of the chassis on that rear axle, which allows plenty of movement. They protrude a little bit on the drive axle, and they protrude quite a lot on that front axle. I'm not quite sure what the reasoning is behind that, and I don't think there's very much can be done about it. Slightly bizarre design, but never mind. Okay, we'll get plenty of oil into that axle because they're quite dry, and the grease in the gearbox there is kind of congealed. So yeah, I think this has been sat for a while. See if we can get a big dollop of silicone grease in there. Right, okay, we'll get this back together. Let me just check these pickups. That one could be bent out a bit. That's good, that one. And these little contacts there make contact with that little PCB. Right. Put that back in. Something like that. There we go. So I'll screw back in place, pop that coupling back on. That's going to clip in there like that. And there we go. Right, let's see how easy these vacuum pipes are going to be to fit. That one goes on the front, and that one goes on the back. And the rest of that we'll just put to the side. How easy are they going to be to fit? Would they be a push fit? Nah, they're going to need a wee bit of glue, aren't they? But at least they go in. So a wee bit of glue. This one on the back. And that's the one on the front. So there we are, that's my new Bachmann V1. Quite pleased with that. The old one, it's still in good nick and still runs fine. You may remember I did a repair to the valve gear, I seem to remember. Yeah, a repair to the motion bracket. Fitted little screws. So, when I was looking at this, I did swither, because I thought I really want to buy another V1, but this is the one I was, originally wanted to get before I was given this one. And, been very grateful to get this, and it's a nice model and it runs fine, but this is nicer. It's a nicer shade of green. Yeah, it just looks a lot more refined. So, yeah, I'm going to have a wee think about it, but I think there's a good chance I might put this up for sale. But we'll see. We'll have a think about it. Right, we'll give this a wee test and see how many amps it pulls. Okay, just turn on the power. It's pulling about just under 100 milliamps, which is pretty good. So that's my new Bachmann V1 checked over. Let's pull it out of the shed and hook it up to some coaches. So there we are, that's 2025 done with. All the very best to you all for the new year, and I'm going to play with my V1 a wee bit more, and I shall leave you with some moments that show that, yeah, making these videos is anything but straightforward. Catch you next year, folks. Right, okay, so all I've got to do now is be more careful. Rightio, I'll give this a clean out. Oh! So you can see the front brogy. going to lift it up a bit because it's got traction tyres on the middle wheels. Oh no, there's a locomotive in there, you stupid idiot. I suspect this will be a in the shed subject. I suspect this will be an in the shed. Unboxing done. Let's see how it runs. Oh. Okay then, let's bring it out the shed. Well, let's turn on the power and see what happens. Oh no. Oh. Okay then, let's bring it out. Oh, for goodness sake, it helps if you put the flipping model in the shed. I have to admit, I really like this livery. I know it's just yellow, but I think diesel blah, blah, blah. Okay, I shall get this packed up and sent back to Andy. And I'll catch you later, folks. Oh, let me know in the comments if you're thinking about it, or if you've already pre-ordered one, or what you think, or just what you think about the mod. But I never wanted to do it with my old. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Look at the lens. Look at the lens. So there we are. That's 2020. So there we are, that's 2020. So there we are, that's 2020. It's not 2020. So there we are, that's 2025. Why can't I say 2025? So there we are, that's 2020. Oh, for God's sake.